I just got done talking to a couple and I said to them something that everybody needs to hear because most couples, when they lose their feelings, have lost their thoughts first. Let me explain. When we fall in love, we have all these great feelings about the other person. But remember, feelings are secondary. People don't realize that. Feelings follow thoughts. Feelings follow actions. And so if you have good thoughts about another person, you have good feelings that follow. If you have good actions towards another person or they have good actions towards you, the feelings follow. Over time, when we're married, over time, when we know people, our siblings, our parents, our colleagues, we learn stuff about them. And as we learn, we have an opportunity to think about them one of a plethora of different ways. We can think kindly of them, we can think poorly of them, and whatever we think, it will change our feelings towards that person. Do I think they're a good person, bad person? Do I think they're a scoundrel? Do I think they're a saint? Uh, and so I'm not saying that we should judge things in totally fake ways. They should always be truth. But how we see what we see is absolutely biblical. In Second Corinthians 10, verse 5, we learn that we are to take captive our thoughts. It means your thoughts shouldn't control you, but you need to think about your thoughts and you need to ask yourself, are these good thoughts? Are my hard feelings getting in the way? Am I thinking less of this person who said it versus somebody else? I mean, I could use a good example. You think someone could say something amazing and you think that's a really good thing. But then if you say, oh, Trump said it, then they think, oh, yeah, no, it's not a good thing. That's just a choice on how we understand a situation. We have a choice to how we credit or discredit that person in our brains. So in our marriages, because we have seen the good and the bad and the ugly with our spouses, we will often lose our good feelings because we're thinking bad thoughts. If we go to Romans, again, it's talking about our thoughts. Romans 12, starting with what the verses 1 and 2 simply say, I urge you, therefore, brothers, by the mercies of God, to offer your bodies as a living sacrifice, holy and pleasing to God, your spiritual worship. Do not conform yourself to this age, right? But be transformed by a renewal of your mind, that you may discern what is the will of God, what is good and pleasing and perfect. So when I just talked to this couple, I said, what I see in you is a good couple. I see someone who has the potential to be a super couple. But you have got to take captive your thoughts because you've started seeing the other person negatively. Oh, she always does this. Oh, he'll always do this. She cuts me off. He's too harsh. She's too soft. Whatever the thoughts are, the feelings follow. And if you have lost thinking of your spouse respectfully, you won't have respectful actions and it won't beget respectful feelings. This is so important because we look at the Bible all the time and applying it to everyday situations doesn't always happen. And I wanted to make this very real. So with this couple, like with any couple, I say, choose your thoughts. Now, when I interviewed my super couples a decade ago, before I wrote my book, The Super Couple: A Formula for Extreme Happiness in Marriage, these were extremely happily married couples. And I wanted to find out, was there a formula? Was it accidental? There absolutely was a formula. And I've put it in my book as sacred, SACRED. The A is attentiveness. Super couples pay attention to what their spouse does well and not what they do poorly. Now, this doesn't mean they're blind to it, but how they choose to perceive it is key to their marital happiness. So when my marriage was bad, if my husband came home in a bad mood and slammed cabinets, I would have been, you're such a jerk. I didn't cause your bad day. Stop taking it out on me. And over time, I would see my husband as a bad person That's him. And this happens in a lot of marriages. We look at the negative things and we attribute them to the spouse as if it's a trait. But super couples didn't do that. Super couples said instead, my spouse is a good person, just having a bad day. Oh, those cabinets, he didn't mean to slam them at me. He's just in a rough mood. Now, of course, we don't tolerate super bad behavior, but we do need to tolerate a lot more than we do in our day. Because if I didn't say anything to my husband, if I just let him be, and perhaps said something like, a rough day, babe, he might be more forgiving, or excuse me, he might be more apologetic later. Say, I'm really sorry I slammed those cabinets. It wasn't you. I'm sorry. Take captive your thoughts. How you choose to see a situation is everything you have control over. You don't have control over the situation itself. You have control over how you think about that situation. And when you think rightly, it'll drop your anger. It'll drop your hurt feelings. It'll drop your negativity. And it'll cultivate in you a much more forgiving spirit, a much more understanding, and your feelings will follow. I hope this makes sense. I'm Dr. Christine Bacon. Thanks for watching this Bacon Bit. And as always, remember to live your life sunny side up.